What's going on, guys? My name is Gregandcin, and today it's time for an upgrade. Today we're going to be upgrading Craig, the thing that all these parts are on top of right now. We have a Ryzen 5 1600 because we're kind of broke right now. We got some 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, an upgrade kit for the cooler, and our motherboard. Oh, motherfucker. And our motherboard. So without further ado, let's start upgrading this thing because this position hurts. So I'm back. It's been like a week or two, I think, at this point. Yeah, so a couple things have gone awry during this whole experiment, but safe to say, Greg is finally upgraded. With the power of the MSI B350 PCMate board, we were able to get this R5 1600 to 3.8 gigahertz at 1.35 volts. I don't think there's anything that more cooling could do to help this out. The temperatures are really fucking great on the Crowrig H7 right now. I believe like I'm getting max 70-ish, 75-ish degrees whenever I ran my IDA test. It's been a bit since I've actually looked at the numbers, but safe to say the processor's is running cool. It's pretty much all up to the motherboard. Speaking of the motherboard, I thought I almost killed this thing. So when I was screwing everything in, I'll have some footage up. There was a part where I don't actually have the screwdriver in the screw to the back plate of the cooler, and I'm grinding against either the plastic or the motherboard. Oh my god. I didn't see anything on the motherboard itself. I also didn't try and take off the back plate just because I wanted to get this cooler on. I don't have too much thermal paste left over right now, but everything works. It's fine. And another thing to note is the RAM. The RAM is only hitting 2666, yes, that's right, megahertz on its XMP profile, the cast latency 15, all that fun stuff. I wasn't able to get it to its 2800 speed that it could hit. I think this is down to just compatibility with the motherboard, and this is Ryzen 1. I have no doubt that if I had a Ryzen 2 system, this might actually work. There's not much more I can do about the RAM unless I try and like feed more voltage to it, maybe. I think that's about it. I could try and tighten down the cast latencies and all that fun stuff, but I really hate messing with that. RAM overclocking is just a little bit harder to me personally than overclocking a CPU. So let's go into results. You've probably seen benchmarks for almost everything out there, like just trying to test this CPU, but my tests are different. I test the games at the settings that I personally play them, but we only have two today because I think it tells the story pretty well. Before I show you these gaming benchmarks, make sure you know that these are not directly comparable. Both these tests happened on earlier versions of the game with the 2500K, as I lost my benchmark data from before I had to reinstall Windows for the system. So in CSGO, at all my settings, which you will see on screen right now, I was hitting 242 FPS on average on the benchmark map, which I'll leave a link down to the description if you really just want to try that out for yourself. I was hitting 96 on the 0.1 and 83 on the 0.1% lows. And since this game is a little bit more reliant on clock speed, I didn't expect too much to change when I went over to the R5 1600. And I was right, my averages were at 259 FPS with 0.1 and 0.01s of 98 and 80 FPS. Specifically, I think this might be due to the mix of the graphics settings I'm using and how CSGO, as a DX9 title that is mostly single-threaded, does have a multi-core rendering option, but I don't think that really reduces the load all too much. The game's not too hard to run anyways, so, you know, it's a game that I like to play, and my FPS is pretty fine. I would assume it might be just a little bit higher in actual uses just because the benchmark map pushes the game so much harder than you would actually see in a real use scenario when you're playing matchmaking or anything like that. Rainbow Six Siege, though, saw massive improvements from this upgrade. It's a DX11 title. It has just use of all 4 cores on the 2500K pegged at 100% most of the time with the settings that I use, and the numbers speak for themselves. While the average didn't change too much, the point ones were a little bit less on the 2500K at 128 FPS compared to 149 on the R5 1600, but the 0.01%, the 0.1%, there we go, that's the word. I was hitting 60 on the 2500K and 132 on the R5 1600. That's bonkers. That basically means I'm getting such a smoother experience. I could probably play this game on a 144 Hz monitor and not feel a whole bunch of screen tearing, motion sickness, etc. For modern games, 4 cores, 4 threads is kind of useless now. If you take a look at these numbers, if you want to play at like higher settings or want to try and maximize your FPS value, if you're fine with 60 FPS, you know, it's fine. Cap the frame rate, whatever. But this, there's no reason for you to be getting a 4-core CPU nowadays unless you're on a very tight budget, and that's why they're relegated to i3s now. So I'm definitely happy with my modern game performance. But the biggest uptick was in productivity, and I only had to do one test for this to basically tell me everything I need to know. Using FFmpeg to transcode a 3-minute, 18-second video into ProRes, man, there was a big jump there. On the 2500K, we were hitting 2 minutes and 51 seconds, so a little bit more than real time to transcode this video. But over on the R5 system, oh my god, 1 minute and 21 seconds. That's mind-boggling. Like, I was expecting maybe to hit 2 minutes with this. Like, 6 cores, 12 threads is great for productivity. I finally understand why this got the best, like, all-around awards from, like, everybody. The R5 1600 is just a great system for those who are into early prosumer stuff, that you want to get editing videos, maybe streaming, stuff like that. This is a great CPU. I wasn't able to do a lot more testing after this, and I'm just surprised. Overall, Craig 2.0 is a success by all accounts. I can edit videos faster, my games are playing better, and the computer just feels snappier, especially on startup. The 2500K system seemed to be having some sort of bottleneck issues during launching things. I don't know if this is because my Windows drive was just kind of like backed up. There was a lot of uninstalling and reinstalling of programs and the registry, maybe, who knows. But right now, this system is just absolutely great. I can recommend this CPU to anybody in this price range, basically. Don't just take my word for it, though. I'm just some kid with a computer. Check out other reviews before you actually buy anything. But Craig is back, baby. He's beautiful. The 1080 is actually usable at its max performance. Like, this is great. This just makes me happy. But gregandcin, you might be asking, what are you gonna do with the 2500K? Are you gonna sell it? Are you gonna like just throw it in the dumpster somewhere? What are you gonna do with it? Well, actually, let's save that one for next video. I have a special plan for the 2500K system. You might remember some other parts that I might have gotten in the past, and it's something special. So please stick around for that. Leave a like if you liked the video, you know what to do if you didn't, and leave a comment down below criticizing me about how I almost killed my motherboard. If you want to check out anything else I do on the internet, please hit that face. It'll be somewhere like over here. Check out one of the videos on the side. Want to be one I recommend to you, want to be one YouTube recommends to you. Check out all my links down below so you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and everything else I do on the internet. My name is gregandcin, and I am kind of hyper right now. I don't know what's going on with me.